Are you thinking about buying your first home in North Idaho but can't decide between brand new construction or a pre-owned home? This decision could literally save or cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and most people don't realize the hidden costs and pitfalls that come with each option. In today's video, I'm breaking down the real pros and cons of new versus pre-owned homes, specifically in the North Idaho market, and why that perfect older home might have expensive surprises waiting for you. Hey, I'm Reed Wilson with Revealing North Idaho, and we come at you every week with new information about the North Idaho area, whether it's things going on here, specific subdivisions, housing, whatever that might be. I've been a realtor up here in the North Idaho area for about the last 10 years and about 20 years here in the state of Idaho. Born and raised here in Idaho. So if you're looking to make a move or have any questions about Idaho or the North Idaho area, give us a call, shoot us a text. Be sure and subscribe and like our video, share it with those who might need this information. Feel free to reach out. My team and I are never too busy for you. And be sure and download our relocation guide in the comments below. But today we're talking about new versus used. So whether you're buying a new or used home, a lot of times it's easy to focus on the sticker price and the mortgage. Here's a statistic that might blow your mind. In North Idaho, right now, new construction homes are selling for an average of 23% more per square foot than pre-owned homes. But that doesn't mean they're a bad deal. In fact, when you factor in the hidden costs, long-term value, and what I call the North Idaho lifestyle factor, the math completely changes. However, a number of additional expenses can significantly impact your budget. These hidden costs are often overlooked by buyers, but they are crucial for a complete financial picture. Here are some of the most common hidden costs. First of all would be like closing costs. These are fees paid at the closing of a real estate transaction. They can range anywhere from 2 to 5%, sometimes even more, of the home's purchase price, and include fees for loan origination, appraisal, title insurance, legal services, and more. Property taxes and homeowners insurance. These are ongoing expenses that you need to budget for. Property taxes are determined by the local government and are often paid through an escrow account with your mortgage lender. Homeowner insurance is required by your lender, and it's important to understand what your policy covers, as you may need additional coverages for things like floods or earthquakes. Not so much up here, but maybe in fire insurance. We do have some flood areas. So make sure you understand your area and what is needed for your different policies. We can certainly help out with a lot of that and what's going on in those areas, or if there is a mandatory flood zone or something along those lines. But these are an annual expense that you will have to budget for. Homeowners Association, the HOA or condo fees. If your new home is part of an HOA or a condominium association, you will be required to pay a monthly or quarterly fees. These fees cover maintenance, common areas like landscaping, pools, or shared amenities. Be aware that these fees can increase over time, and special assessments may be charged for large unexpected projects. Moving expenses. The cost of moving can add up quickly, especially if you're relocating to a new city or state. This includes hiring professional movers, renting a truck, purchasing packing supplies, storage if needed, etc. So depending on time of year and where you're moving from, that can be a huge hidden cost that maybe you have not considered. Maintenance and repairs. Every home, new or old, requires maintenance. You should set aside funds for routine upkeep, lawn care, HVAC servicing, as well as emergency funds for unexpected issues like a leaky roof or water heater that goes out, plumbing problems, or furnace issues. Especially with a lot of the older homes, these costs can be more frequent and more expensive. Comparing a new versus used home for anybody looking to downsize or make a change, or whether you're a first-time buyer, the choice between a new and used home involves weighing different financial and lifestyle considerations. Here's a consideration to consider. Buying a new home. Let's look at some pros. Lower initial maintenance and repairs. New homes come with all sorts of new appliances, systems, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, fresh roof. This means you're unlikely to face major costs for many years, providing, peace of mind and predictable expenses. They come energy efficiency. With new homes are built to current energy codes, often featuring better insulation, modern windows, more efficient heating and cooling system. This can lead to significant long-term savings on utility bills. Warranties. New construction homes typically come with a builder's warranty that covers structural defects, systems, and finishes for a specific period. And on top of that, usually your appliances, HVAC, all those types of things typically all have a warranty with them, so that if anything goes wrong, you're covered. Customization, modern layouts. When building a new build, you may have the opportunity to choose finishes, fixtures, or even a floor plan that suits your needs. Many new homes feature open concept layouts, single-story designs that are more accessible, easier to navigate as you age. Also, community amenities. Many new developments are built with a focus on community. Offer amenities like pools, clubhouses, walking trails, a lot of these types of things depending on what type of lifestyle, socialization that you are looking for. A lot of different communities, and we can help you out with finding those different types of amenities depending on what it is that interests you. Let's look at some of the cons. Higher initial costs. The median price of a new home is often significantly higher than comparable older home, which may counteract the goal of downsizing for cost saving. Higher property taxes. Because new homes have a higher assessed value, their property taxes may be higher than those of an older home in the same area. Potential for delays. We live in a 4-season area up here, so bad weather can delay. Many times, new construction home can be subject to different delays, whether it's weather, material shortage, labor issues. All of this can be problematic if you need to move on a specific timeline. Lack of mature landscaping. New homes often have very little or no established landscaping, and so which can require some time, money, and effort to get the yard you want. Many of these homes out here may have a front yard. A lot of times they put in a couple trees and some flowers or landscaping there, but typically just the front yard is landscaped, got the grass in. They'll have the sprinkler system put in for the front yard, but typically you are responsible for the backyard, whether it's putting in grass or landscaping, adding that sprinkler system, adding fencing. All this can add up. I know on the last new home that I had built in a neighborhood, I was about $20,000 by the time I put in the fencing, added the landscaping in the backyard. So that is something that you need to kind of plan for and know that that's most likely going to be something you're going to have to deal with. Sometimes you can have that added in on a new home, but not always. Location and lack of established neighborhood. New developments are often located on the outskirts of towns or cities where land is cheaper. This may mean longer commutes to establish amenities like hospital, restaurants, and grocery stores. So just a few things to keep in mind on new homes. Buying a used home. Let's look at some of the pros and cons of that. Pros, typically lower upfront costs. The purchase price of an older home is typically lower than that of a new build, which is a major advantage for anyone that's looking to maximize their cost savings from, say, downsizing or first-time home, established neighborhoods and locations. So, older homes are often located in more mature, well-established neighborhoods that are closer to city centers or amenities. This can mean easier access to shopping, medical facilities, or community centers, unique character and charm, especially a lot of these really older homes. Boy, they don't make them like that anymore. A lot of those older homes often feature unique architectural details, high quality craftsmanship, sense of history that can be hard to find in a new build. And many of these come with mature landscape. And a used home often has, established yards, mature trees, plantings, which can add to the home value and provide immediate comfort and privacy or shade or whatever it is you're looking for. Many times with pre-owned home is room for negotiation. We're seeing a lot of that right now where sellers are willing to negotiate on the price, on some closing costs or rate buy downs, a lot of those types of things. They're being a lot more negotiable right now with the way the market is and versus that what you will see in the new. Now we are seeing a few incentives with new construction, but for the most part, the price you see is the price that you're going to pay and then any add-ons. And so keep that in mind. Let's look at some of the cons for pre-owned, higher potential for repairs and maintenance. So it's always a really good idea to get a good inspection, but sometimes the water heater's 15, 20 years old and it's still working. And so the seller doesn't want to replace a working water heater or furnace or, these homes with 20 and 30-year roofs. And so depending on where you're at in that process, in that timeline, could dictate that hey, maybe you're not doing something today, but in 5 years you need to plan on, replacing that roof. And then, depending on the size of that roof, could be 5, 10, 20,000 or more, depending on what you're needing to do. So the older home is more likely that you are going to encounter issues with major systems like the roof, HVAC, plumbing. This can lead to unpredictability and expense repair costs, which is a significant risk if you are, say, on a fixed income. Older homes were not built to modern energy standards, and many have less insulation, older homes, less efficient appliances, which can result in higher utility bills. Another thing to think about is outdated systems and building codes. Older homes may not be up to current building codes and systems like electrical wiring or plumbing that might need to be updated. This could be significant or unexpected expense, especially if you're going to try to do some permits. Say you're wanting to add on, or maybe you're updating the kitchen and find out that it has a lot of old wiring, which then you got to run all new wiring to be able to run the new appliances, whatever that may look like. So keep that in mind. Less accessible layouts. A lot of these older homes were built room to room, and there was a reason, so they could easier to heat and cool. And so a lot of those segregated rooms, multi-levels, which may not be ideal for, certain people with mobility challenges. Hazardous materials is another one. Homes built before 1978 may contain lead paint or asbestos, or which some of these things can be expensive to remediate. Some of those you got to look at because they're not as well ventilated, and maybe the bathrooms were not as well ventilated, and so you need to check for mold. A thorough inspection is crucial to identify a lot of these potential hazards. So which is better for you? New or used? Really, your pocketbook is the only thing that's going to be able to decide that. But looking at these different pros and cons, some of that may, as you reflect what you're willing to look at or what you're not willing to do, and maybe where you're at financially again. So keep an eye on that. Maybe we can help you find that something that's in that happy medium that's just a few years old and still has a lot of life left. So there are some of those type of homes around also, but let us know how we can help. Put in the comments anything that maybe I might have missed. Again, subscribe if you're wanting to continue to get updates every week. Like I said, my team and I, We're never too busy for you. Whether you're looking to move the next 2 weeks, 2 years, let us know. Let us be your boots on the ground. We're happy to help and help make your move to North Idaho a smooth transition. Be sure and download our relocation guide in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.